Sunday the 29th of April. I am here with my very long overdue WIP update for my cross stitch with you. Sorry, there's not many, well, I've got multiple excuses actually for this. So obviously I missed the March update. There are multiple factors for what has led to that. Some more mundane and a couple of them much more interesting. So I've got Daisy with me, who has absolutely turned into my shadow. So obviously we've got FlossTube WIP update featuring Daisy today. So hopefully she'll be good all the way through it and not start to cry or whine with a bit of luck. But from a kind of day-to-day usual stuff perspective, I've been incredibly busy with work, just backwards and forwards to London a few times during that couple of months. There's a couple of things that I'm dealing with at the moment with work, which are both physically and mentally draining, and I think that, you know, when you've got a lot on your mind from that perspective, I don't know, I've been distracted. So I've been distracted from that side of it. So I'll come home from work, for example, and kind of get something to eat, and then I've got that much I want to do and I've got that much on my mind that it almost gets to the point where I don't actually do anything, and it gets to bedtime and I haven't picked up stitching. I've just really sat like a zombie in front of the TV, or, you know, spent some time with Daisy, or done something to do with fitness, because obviously I'm trying to get back into that side of things again. So yeah, it's been a bit tricky. I took a week off, and Daisy had some surgery during that time. It wasn't sort of a major surgery, but still, you know, you've got sort of 3-4 days of, she wasn't particularly down, but probably just a bit more needy than usual. Plus, you know, I did a lot of stuff in the house, so I was planning on taking the week to catch up on stitching and do stuff, but really I did a lot of stuff in the house, got things organised and sorted, and yeah, it's just been a strange one. But from a more interesting perspective, so during these last few weeks, I mentioned before in a previous update, and I can't remember whether it was the last one or the previous one, about some of the other crafts that I do and interests that I have, and I've decided that I will start to share some of those through YouTube. So, you know, I make cards, I also make jewellery, beaded jewellery, that kind of thing. So I've started to think about that. So during the last month particularly, I've been organising and looking at how I'm going to set this up, because obviously I need a good top-down view of, so you can see what I'm doing, especially when I'm doing the cards or beading tutorials. So I kind of needed to explore that, so I've been doing a fair bit of research into that. So I've actually now got a tripod, which I will show you at some point, a particular type of tripod that I've needed, been sorting out lighting, and then I'm swapping my camera. So, oh, hey up, here she goes. Oh, she's getting onto the table. Sorry. You can't go on there. What are you going to do? You're sitting on my cross stitch. I hope there's not a needle. You're going to get a needle in your bummy, Nana. All right. Come on, get down, get down. Come on, sit back on my knee. So, oh, hi. Oh, it's tummy rub time. This is Daisy's favourite thing. You'll be sitting and all of a sudden she'll come to where you are, flip onto her back. Oh, baby. And then she wants belly rubs, don't you? Yeah, she is a particularly lovely dog, aren't you? You are. You love your cuddles, don't you? Anyway, enough about you. Enough about you. So yeah, I was saying about the tripod, lighting, and I was saying about the camera, sorry, that's where I was. I record off a regular, it's not a regular, it's a nice DSLR camera, and from a video perspective it's fine. I don't know whether you've noticed in previous uploads it's quite difficult, it doesn't always focus very well, so I'll move and then it'll focus on what's behind me normally, and I'm just like a blurred vision at the front. So, you know, from a regular photograph taking perspective, you know, if you're really into photography and you want to get some really fantastic images, which I'm not, I mean, I just point and shoot, I don't really think about it. You know, it would be great, but I'm not using it to its full capacity. So I've ordered, which is due on Wednesday or Tuesday this week, a HD camcorder, like a, yeah, it is like a camcorder, and it's Zoom facilities and sort of functionality from recording video, which is exactly what it's meant for, or, you know, digital, you know, whatever it is, podcasts and things. I've decided to do that. So this camera that I'm recording on now is currently on eBay, and yeah, we'll part with that one and get something that's going to be a bit more useful. So obviously there's been that side of it, plus I've also set up an Etsy shop in that time, so I've needed to stock the shop. So I've been putting cards onto there, so I've been obviously doing some card making, I've been making some jewellery, which I'll show you some later if you're interested. So I needed to get some things onto there if obviously I'm going to start it. So I've kind of set up, you know, a little business on the side. So I've been obviously organising business cards, things like that, you know, just getting yourself set up to, you know, to be able to do that. So, you know, it's been busy, so, you know, you'll have to forgive me for you know, not spending some part of March with you. So that's been what's happening. But I'll put all the links down below for what I've been doing. I've got a Facebook page for my business, which is Crafty Lisa Designs UK. My Etsy shop goes under the name of Crafty Lisa Designs UK, but as I said, I'll put the links below, and if you want to go and have a look at what's on there, you know, please feel free. If you ever want, you know, a handmade card of any nature, or you want a jewellery item, you want me to make something bespoke for you, I'm more than happy to do that. So please just, you know, have a look on there and see if there's anything that you might like. I've joined Instagram as well, finally. Yeah, I will get into all this social media digital thing. I haven't really posted on it, but I'm on, and obviously I'm looking for followers. I've picked up quite a few people who I recognise, and yeah, and you know, I'm doing all right. I will start posting some stuff when I've done some stitching for you guys. But yeah, I set up a while ago, and then I had some difficulties because I was getting all of my friends trying to request me. And not that I don't want my friends on there, but I don't want my friends on there who I already share information with on Facebook. Here we go again. You know, this I want to be about crafting. She's sat on my cross stitch again. This I want to be about crafting and other things. Not that I don't want my friends to see that, but I just don't see the point in that, because I'm not going to be putting up pictures of, you know, what I've been doing on holiday and things through my Instagram. It will be very much about craft stuff, stitching, you know, the usual stuff. So yeah, I'll put my Instagram details down in the comments, well, in the box below, and you can, you know, if you want to follow, and I'll request you and whatnot. So anyway, I've been blethering on for the best part of 10 minutes. Shall we do some WIP updates? Right, Missy Moo, you're gonna have to move. Yeah, let's put you down. I'll tell you what, let's put you down. And this is a point where she's not going to like this, and then she's probably going to start jumping up and wanting to get back on my knee. So the first WIP I'll show you is my... She's crying now. This isn't going to work, is it? Well, come on then, if you come in. Are you coming up? Are you going to sit and cry? Come here. She's very whiny. Oh, she's whiny. Come on then, watch your head as you jump. Oh, right, we're back on. Okay, now you just have to sit still, otherwise I'll put you in your bed. Yeah? So, my first one is a Cris Ortega piece, and it is Steam Heart. I'll show you a picture of what it'll look like when it's finished. And where I was last time you saw the piece. So, here it is now. So, in all fairness, I didn't do so bad. So I mentioned in my last video I'd been working, sorry, it's on the scroll frame still, so a lot of it's actually hidden. Sorry, I'm having my legs pummeled to death by Daisy. So, oh god, she's back on. Bear with me, 2 ticks. Right. Sorry, I've just taken her downstairs and put her in a little crate just to, well, I finished this, it's not working. So I showed you the picture before and after, and I started to show you this, so let's get back to this. So, sorry, I did say it's on the frame, I didn't want to take it off. So I was working sort of on a face, which is sort of scrolled up round the back down here. So my goal was to start to fill out these 4 pages on this side. So as you can see, I almost it's not quite a page finish, but almost got the page finish on this right hand side. Sorry, I'm out of breath, that's what you get for going up and down the stairs quickly. Anyway, so I almost got the page finished on that side. Not bad in terms of progress. So, you know, through next month I'd like to start, I'd finish that page and then maybe come across onto this side there and see how we go. But yeah, no, it's working out well. It's fabulous to stitch on. It's I'm quite enjoying it because I'm working on another Heaven and Earth design, which I'll show you just now, which is sort of a smaller mini version. And I think the minis, you get a lot of confetti in them, where with this you tend to get quite a few more blocks of colours. And yes, obviously it's bigger, but I don't know, you just seem to be able to get a run of thread going and you're not constantly switching out colours. So I am stitching this on 25 count Lagana, as I remember. Yeah, 25 count Lagana, 1/1. So obviously I need my mag lights for that because my eyes ain't that good anymore. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. It's coming on. I mentioned in my last upload I'd ordered some shorter Ornament stretcher bars. These are the smallest ones they do. It's been much better for me. I think I mentioned before that working on the frame and having to reach, sort of putting tension on my neck and my back, where these, it brings the frame a lot closer to me, and yeah, I've not got as much of the fabric exposed either, which is better. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed working with the shorter sidebars. So yeah, and they've even started, bless them, engraving Ornament factory on the stretcher bars now. So yeah, they're a great bunch of guys over there in Estonia, aren't they? I love Anton. I love his company as well. I think they're doing so well in terms of, you know, the provision of kind of innovative supplies for us stitchers. So yeah, I really like that. So I'll show you my second Heaven and Earth design, which is the Enchanted Christmas Ornament by Donna Glesinger. Oh, hang on, I'm losing a little. Let me put him there. I'm losing a little. I've got that many needle minders on this that it's ridiculous. So this is where it was before, and this is where we are now. So I've made significant progress on that sort of left hand side of the image. So we've got sort of the back end of the sleigh, we're coming down into the snow. So down here is like a little, as it sort of comes round on the circle, a little tiny partial page which I'll probably drop down and finish. I do need to come back up and finish off this toy section, which, you know, I think that's one of the most confetti heavy parts of the piece. So as I was saying, there is a fair bit of confetti, but then you do get some decent runs of colour. So you get a fair bit of the dark green up there. There was a bit of black and the brown shades for the sleigh down there. So you do get a bit of respite from the confetti from it. I've stitched my favourite part of this, which was the lantern, and the lit lantern, and it's fab. I love that, and the way that it sort of catches, you know, makes the glow, like the halo glow around the rest of the image. So I'm looking forward to see how that sort of develops, really, that section, because it is my favourite section. So there's a few missed stitches in here that I need to go back and fill in, but you know, it'll get done eventually. So, you know, I wanted this done and framed for the end of the year. I feel as though, what, we're at the end of April, I feel as though I'm on track with that. Probably need to put the foot on the gas a little bit with it, because I'd like to get it framed and on the wall. So I do have a bit of a goal for the end of October. So yeah, I've got plenty of time, I feel. Probably just need to make that much more of a focus piece than it has been, just to make sure that I do get there. So this is a bit easier on the eyes for stitching. So obviously this is 18 count HAED. I often do a lot of my smaller minis. So the one I finished, the Simply Meant to Be, again was stitched 18 count. So this is 2/1 on 18 count. So you get the nice coverage with the 2 threads, but also it is a little bit easier on the eyes in terms of stitching than the 25 count. So I'll put him over there. My other piece, or one of my other pieces, is the old Salem Broom Company. So I'll put in, again, the picture and where I am now. Or I was, rather. So I did say to you it was kind of border time and I wasn't looking forward to it. So I've made reasonable progress on it. I'm glad I've done it because actually I really like it. It's not finished yet. I'm almost halfway around, as you can see. I do like it. I think it really sets it off a treat. So it is a little bit mundane. It does change a little bit here, so you have to keep an eye on your pattern because it does shrink to a slightly different pattern in the border. But yeah, no, I feel as though I think it's really setting it up. It's using so much, so I'm stitching that in Gentle Art sampler threads. I'm going through Raven, which is the colour, so it's two. There's Raven and Nutmeg in there. I'm going through Raven, like the rate of knots. So I finally got all of my Raven from so and so. So it's taken them 2 months to be able to supply everything I needed to finish this, because obviously they maybe don't carry that much stock. But yeah, no, it's coming on a treat and it's looking fab. And to be fair, I think that should be a finish next month when I come back at the end of May. That should be a finish. So I just need to crack on with that border. This is stitched 2/2 on a specially hand-dyed linen from the Primitive Hare, because it's a Primitive Hare pattern, and the lady who runs it kind of hand dyes, and I think this was tea and coffee dyed, to be honest. Was it better than my example from last time? She yeah, so she does her own. So this is called Old Salem linen. So yeah, it's a 30 count linen, so I'm stitching it 2/2, so it kind of works out 15 count. So again, it's fairly easy going. Finished a couple of the details in terms of adding some of the brown colours in. So there's a few bits yet. Obviously the spider needs to go in, a couple of bits of detail that need to be added. But you know, she's coming on. Pretty pleased with the progress on that. So yeah, it's a nice one. You know, as I said before, far bigger than I thought it was going to be in terms of size. I'm glad I bought the larger piece because that linen comes in 2 sizes, one that's half the size and obviously this. I honestly thought I would get the image on half the size, and then obviously as I started to stitch, it's much bigger, twice the size. I mean, you could, I don't think you could actually stitch it 1/1 on it. It would be tiny, and then I think in terms of the smaller writing, especially here where you've got sort of Salem, Massachusetts written, it isn't going to happen, is it? So you do need to stitch it, I guess, in the count that's recommended by the designer. But again, pleased with it. It's coming on. So hopefully, depending on what happens over the next month, that should be a finish. And then, this is still on the Q-snap because there's a lot of fabric in this. It's my autumn from Hawker and Hollow. So I'll put in a picture of what it'll look like and where I was last time. And then I'll show you this. So this is stitched on 40 count vintage country mocha linen. What am I stitching this? 40 count. 1/1, isn't it? It is 40 count, 1/1. This is tiny, it's tiny stitches. Yeah, and I'm stitching this in the Call for MPI silks, which, if you've been watching some of my videos, you'll understand my thoughts around that. Yes, it's beautiful, and I love the shading of the colours, really like it. I like the muted shades, but the ordeal I'm having with collecting the number and the colours of the threads I need, I won't do it again. I do have Halloween at Hawker and Hollow, and that's going to be a DNC stitch. So you can see how I've progressed with that. So I've pretty much got all of the first block finished, bar a couple of things. So I'm missing the brick colour in between that, so I've missed that. I haven't got that right now. And then there's a couple of pumpkin shades along the bottom, so I need to go back in and stitch those 5 or 6 pumpkins. And then I'm also missing the shade I need for the back stitching for the porch swing. But other than that, that's finished. So yeah, I mean, I was going to go out and buy the whole shebang full out. I haven't done that yet. I've been, I suppose, in terms of haul, I don't have any stitching haul. My haul and any additions I've been making have been around the jewellery and the cards at the minute. So I've kind of spent a reasonable amount of money from that side of it, which I'm not going to share with you because it's not relevant to your interests. And I will show it in, obviously, maybe in other uploads, but they will be very card specific and jewellery specific, and it's completely up to you whether you watch them. So I haven't invested in the MPI silks for the rest of it, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to stitch the other side of the border. I'm going to come over here and stitch what I can out of the shades that I have, and then maybe readdress perhaps next month and see what I need. So a lot of the shades aren't carried in the UK. Somebody has given me, sorry I've forgotten your name, a Canadian site that might be reasonable, or then I am looking into the realms of shipping from the States, and then you're into the realms of customs charges, because I've just been walloped for some cabochons and filigree backplates that I've ordered from the States for my beading. Like, and it's ridiculous. I have no idea. You know, you've got £8 worth of shipping, handling charge from the Royal Mail. It's such rip-off merchants, our postal service. So I do need to sort of think about how I'm going to go about doing this, because it is expensive to kit up. The MPI silks from the States are pretty expensive as well. I got a shock at how much you guys pay in terms of dollars for MPI. I think ours might even be a little bit cheaper, but it's finding the shades. So we'll see. I'm starting to rabbit, so I'm going to shut up. But we'll see how we go with that. There's no sort of promises or goals that I've set for that piece in terms of where I want to get to next month. We'll see. Finally, I have a little new start. Just sitting bored one night, obviously distracted, and thought, right, I want to pick up something small. So I did start the Latte buttons and beads. I've already done the cappuccino, which is sitting on its own in the drawer, desperately waiting to be framed, so it needs a partner. So it's getting a partner. And that's how far I've got with it. I'll just put it on there so you can see. So I started to stitch the mug. It's not mega process, but you know, it's a start. So yeah, I'm quite sort of enjoying that. It's, you know, it's something you can sit just in your hand while you're watching TV on a night. You don't need your frame, you don't need your stands out. It's just easy to work off. So we'll see how we get this month with that. Again, I don't really have any major goals for it. I don't have a major goal for anything. I just, as I said, we'll just kind of go with the flow and see where we get to. So that's the stitchy stuff. So not bad considering. I mean, is it 2 months worth of stitching? Not in my estimation, it's not. But then I think the reality is that really I've probably only done a month's worth within that, with all of the other stuff I've been doing. So that's the WIP update. So if you want to switch off now and go off and watch somebody else, that's not a problem, because the rest of what I'm going to talk about is beading. There's not much of it, and card making. It'll only take a few minutes. I just want to share some of the projects that I've been working on. So if you're leaving me now, thank you for joining me. I've kind of missed everybody. Yeah, I'll catch you guys soon. If you're leaving, you take care, and I'll see you in the next WIP update. If you are staying, I'm going to put some photographs in of some of the designs that I've already finished that are already on the Etsy shop. So I'm just going to share a few photos with you so you can see the types of things that I do. There's all sorts. I mean, this is just kind of the start. I have made other jewellery pieces that I've kept for myself for personal use, which, you know, I may replicate and may add in eventually, but obviously these things take a bit of time. You know, it's not as lengthy of process as cross stitch, but still, you know, it does take time. So I'm going to share those with you now so you can have a look and see what's on the Etsy store right now, just to give you a bit of an idea. And then what I want to show you is a couple of things that are kind of WIPs in progress when it comes to card making. So I do have some other images that I've coloured. So these have all been done in distress inks. So I do a lot of stamping and use a lot of stamped images for the design. So I use that, a mixture of die cutting and things like that to achieve a lot of the card stuff that I've done. Colour in different mediums. I colour in blendable pencils. So I have my polychromos, what make are they? I've forgotten what make my polychromos are. Oh, Faber-Castell polychromos. I colour in distress inks, I colour in watercolours, I also use a lot of Copic markers as well. But these three are done in distress inks, so stamped images with distressed ink. So these are going to be made into cards, but that's just kind of one of the images that essentially it's watercolouring, isn't it? So that's her. I've got another little cutie here, which she also needs to be made into some sort of card. I'm not sure what sentiments to put with these little guys yet. And then this little beaut, she's really sweet. Another little cutie. So I'll be obviously framing them, mounting them in coordinating papers and things like that, and obviously mounting them onto cards. To add to the Etsy store, so they're to be done. And then there's a couple of jewellery pieces that I've been working on this weekend. They're not finished yet, so they've still got some dangly threads off them, but I made a bracelet, which I'll just show you, which is made out of like little pyramids, and it probably won't focus because, as I said, this camera doesn't do that very well, but so it's sort of got pyramid beads in and all sorts of sparklies. So that's a nice little bracelet that I've been working on over the last few days. Well, finished that yesterday morning, started it Friday night and finished it yesterday morning. So that's pretty. So that's going to be going on the Etsy store when I cut off all my fireline thread. So I've got the dangly bits on. And then, this is something I made a while ago and then ordered. This is one of the cabochons that I ordered from the States that I got walloped with custom charges for. But this is a necklace that I've made. So ignore the dangly bits, I need to put a clasp on the end of it and finish it all off. But yeah, just to give you an idea of one of the other necklaces that I've made. So yeah, it's a cabochon mounted onto like a filigree with beading to capture the cabochon. I then made a bail to attach it, a beaded bail to attach it to the Kumihimo necklace, and this necklace is Kumihimo braiding, so it kind of gives that really nice sort of chunky effect, which I think is really pretty. So kind of greens and browns. So that's going to be on the Etsy store probably this evening or tomorrow morning at some point. So that's the type of thing that I do. So it's quite modern jewellery making. I do a lot of Kumihimo type things, which I will be putting videos in for. So they'll be starting over the next couple of weeks or so. So I hadn't decided whether to split the two channels and have obviously Crafty Lisa as the cross stitch and Crafty Lisa Designs as the cards and the jewellery. I mean, when I did mention it last time, I mean, it was pretty much an overwhelming consensus that you guys would like to see some of the other stuff that I do as well, and would like to see some tutorials, because I know there's a lot of multi-crafters out there, and you know, those that stitch often do lots of other things as well. So yeah, the vast majority, a couple of people said they were only here for the WIP updates, which is fine, and obviously I'll be still doing them, so they'll be going out on a monthly basis in an ideal world, so you'll be able to still capture that. So I'm thinking of keeping them together for now, and then we'll see how it progresses, see what the feedback is, maybe a little bit later down the line from you guys, and then from any new subscribers that I get who might be coming for card making or for beading projects. We'll just see. I think it's a shame to start a channel afresh. I mean, we all work hard, don't we, on this to, you know, to get the, you know, the feedback, to get the subscribers and things. It takes a lot of time, and you know, and every subscription is absolutely appreciated. So thank you so much for subscribing and liking and commenting on what I do. It really does make such a difference to us all, doesn't it, to get that positive endorsement for showing and sharing what we love to do. So that's where I'm at. I will, as I said, this month be starting some, you know, tutorial type things for the cards and the beading. Not sure how that's going to look like yet, and yeah, and I'll be getting some stitching in. So I'm going to finish off those 2 jewellery pieces today. I'm going to work on some stitching, I don't know which yet. I might do some border on my old Salem. We'll see how I feel a little bit later. But yeah, it's been nice to spend some time with you guys, so thank you for stopping by and spending time with me. Yeah, and I'll see you for a WIP update in a month or so with hopefully some progress on the stitching. So you take care of yourself, guys, and I will catch up with you in a month, and if not before, with some of the tutorials. So take care, see you soon, bye.